Manchester United in negotiations to sign 18-year-old Wonderkid from South America, a player they've been watching for a while. We know that Vivo likes these kind of signings. We've seen it with Saka Kone, Diego Leon. Could this new centre-back be the next addition? Has been linked to Manchester United in the past and fits the model of players that United are looking at. We will talk about other transfer stories, including Kenda, that looks to be the next first-team signing for Manchester United. Antony calling out Ruben Amorim, or Antony's agent to be exact. JJ Gabriel, the 14-year-old wonder kid that Manchester United are doing what they can to keep him, but he's a world-class talent in terms of one of the best 14-year-olds in the world. He's got his sin as the next Neymar. Nike want him to be the next Ronaldo, presenting him deals at 14. Manchester United are fighting to keep this world-class talent from rivals. And yeah, we'll talk about the squad for the Sociedad game and more. So hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to the 10-minute Manchester United news roundup. Well, we're going to round up all the latest news in 10 minutes. So it was said from sources coming out in Argentina that Manchester United are in formal negotiations for Rosario centre-back for Rosario Central over signing 18-year-old Argentine centre-back Juan Gimenez. Now, I don't know who Juan Gimenez or Juan Gimenez is, but I do know that this report here on your screen was also said back in August. He's 18 now, he was 17 back then. Obviously, you have to wait until they're 18 for them to come in. But we know with Diego Leon, I remember saying this source that I'm unaware of from South America saying that there's something going on with Diego Leon to United. 3-4 days later, the mainstream United journalists started picking up on it. And then we found out that this deal was probably going to be done. And now Diego Leon has done his medical at Manchester United, and that deal is essentially done. Bish bash bosh. Could this be another case? Now, we get linked to a lot of South American players, and sometimes it just ends up being nothing. And, agent talk to get them a move, like Aaron Anselmo used Man United to get that move to Chelsea. But we saw with Diego Leon, sometimes we're linked to these South American players and we make that move. And then we sit under Rival United looking to make those moves. So this was obviously said back in August by Academy Scoop. The United scouting department are putting increased emphasis on the South American recruitment opportunities ahead of the summer. They looked at us, Anselmo, Franco Mastantuono has been linked to us a lot, Thomas Palmo, and obviously Juan Gimenez, a 17-year-old centre-back that we've been looked at. Any potential signing could be directly signed or loaned out to someone like Nice or Lausanne as part of their development as well, which is really interesting there. So I think this is definitely one to watch. This could be, and the new Diego Leon, 18-year-old type centre-back signing. The only thing is, with Aiden Heaven coming in, do we need to sign another young centre-back? We've got Gobble Conky, we've got Aiden Heaven, but I guess this is more right-sided. We have centre-backs at the club that are probably better in the central centre-back role rather than the wide centre-back role. And I also think that we'll be signing experienced centre-backs, and these are players for the future to mould in. And we know the model that Ineos want is young players, because I think Ineos are thinking of selling them on in the future. It was also said that we intend to make an offer of 25 million for Kenda. I think it would take 35 million to get the deal done. Now, I like young players, and I'm glad that we are doing that. But I do think Ineos need to go and look at experienced players as well. I think they're looking at young players, sell on value. I still think they need to look at experienced players. But I think Kenda playing under Amorim is a perfect fit for Amorim's system and probably the type of profile we need. But in attack, we've been linked to the lap with young players. I just want a ready-made scorer. I want someone that's ready now. You look at, I was just watching, I'm recording this at half-time, by the way, and PSG are battering Liverpool. I know it's 0-0, but Dembele and Kvaratskhelia, the quality on show, even Barcola, compared to what we see, it's so upsetting. João Neves is unbelievable as well. And to think that, it's just gutting. As a Man United fan, it's just gutting to see how good PSG's attack is and how free-flowing it is compared to ours. I'm jealous, so we definitely need experience in attack. But let's talk about Antony's agent. Was Antony's agent right to call out Ruben Amorim? If you aren't aware, Ruben Amorim praised Antony for sort of doing well in the Liga, but said Antony needed to go to La Liga because he suits the league better, because he doesn't have the physicality to play in the Premier League. Antony's side did not take that well. We respect Ruben Amorim's opinion, but we do not agree with his point of view at all. Attributing Antony's lack of success at Manchester United to a physical factor is superficial analysis that does not correspond to reality. The truth is that Antony has not been given enough confidence to play his best football. Of Amorim's 15 games in charge, he only used Antony in 9 of them at the total 252 minutes. This represents only 18.6% of the total possible minutes. How can you judge an athlete in these conditions? Many players who fail at United have success at other clubs, which raises question whether the problem lies with the players. Now, elements of what he says is right in terms of the problem is more Manchester United not getting the best out of players and bringing the player in for this and bringing the player in for that doesn't suit the system. But I said this, we saw Antony with Onais for 2 years, he was not good enough. The reason Amorim wasn't playing Antony a lot is because we'd seen Antony for 2 years and he wasn't good enough under Ten Hag, and Ten Hag's the one that signed him. We'd play Antony so many games and Ahmad would barely get sniff. Ahmad got limited minutes, And Ahmad in the limited minutes did more than Antony. So he's talking about Antony hasn't had enough minutes to prove himself under Amorim. Antony had enough minutes to prove himself under Ten Hag, and Ahmad, in very little minutes under Ten Hag, who didn't get enough minutes under Ten Hag, proved himself, whereas Antony didn't under Ten Hag. Under Amorim, if you subbed off Antony for Ahmad, you'd notice a huge difference. We saw Antony with our own eyes for 2 years. He's not good enough for the Premier League. He's doing well in La Liga. I'm glad he's doing well in La Liga. We're going to get money for selling him, but he's not good enough for the Premier League. I think the La Liga suits him more because it's more technical. He's a technical player, but he doesn't have the pace. He's a bit predictable. He was not good at Man United, and there's no defending that. He's doing well at La Liga, and I think the Man United environment and the setup and the system, it does not help him. But the biggest part is some players just aren't made for the Premier League, and that's the truth of Antony. Elements of it is the confidence, of course, the fact that he's being coached better, in terms of the system suits him more. That's a big element of it, but also the league and the physicality. Because look at Ahmad and look at Antony. Look what Ahmad's doing. It's a quality difference. Let's continue on into Antony's season. Last year, where Ten Hag played him a lot. 3 goals, 2 assists, in 38 games. It was not good enough. The Premier League is the most intense league in terms of distance covered, sprints made, and some players are better suited to certain leagues. And there's nothing wrong with that. It is true. I think there's nothing wrong with that. I'm glad he's doing well. We'll get some money for him. Bish, bash, bosh. But talking of player I don't want to sell is JJ Gabriel. Now, Shea Lacey is one of the most talented players in the academy, but it feels like with all the injuries, he's just not going to work for him. Now, JJ Gabriel is the highest rated player in the academy, but he's 14 years of age. People won't probably start talking about it until he's 16. It was that a host of Premier League clubs are circling to sign JJ Gabriel if he's to leave Manchester United this summer. Manchester United is trying to do everything possible to make sure the player stays at the club. So this was said by Sam C. Reports. Unbelievable player. There's a window when you're 14, there's a window when you're 16 where rivals can pick you up. Barcelona have been trying to snoop him up. Man United want him to stay. He's the highest rated player at the club. He's playing 4 years up. He's the only 14-year-old that's been called up into the under-18 squad for the Arsenal game or just travelling with them. He's not played for the under-18s yet, but he's close to getting his debut at 14. He can play left wing, centre forward and striker. Potential sin as a 10 out of 10 according to Rising Stars. Dribbling, creativity, versatility, vision, passing, agility and balance is where he seems to stand out. And it was said that JJ Gabriel affectionately is a I can't say the word, but you know what I mean, prestigious talent, we're going to say, with Manchester United's academy. At just 14 years old, he's remarkable. Dribbling skills have impressed everybody. In October 2024, Gabriel's exceptional performances led to his promotion to Manchester United's under-18 squad, a significant accomplishment for a player playing 4 years up. He has consistently played above his age group, demonstrating maturity and skills beyond his years. Notably, he was a regular for the under-16s at just 13 and earned Most Valuable Player of the Award at a pre-season tournament in Hong Kong, scoring 2 goals and providing 2 assists, just to show the level of talent we've got there. This is our potentially Lamine Yamal level talents, what people are saying, one of the most technically gifted players they've seen. He probably could be more suited to the Liga, and with Barcelona coming knocking and where Man United are at right now, you can't blame him if he's looking out. But United are doing what they can to try and keep this guy at the club. There's a lot of interest, and they could lose him this window, which would absolutely suck. In terms of other news, this is the Manchester United squad ahead of the game versus Real Sociedad. Amas was the only youth player called up, not Morehouse, Fletcher, or Scanlon, which is disappointing. There's only going to be 7 players on the bench with 2 goalkeepers again. But Ruben Amorim doesn't feel it's the right decision to take them. I would have taken at least one of the attacking young players just to have that option on the bench if there's an injury in attack, for me, in my opinion, because we don't have Chido. So obviously Amas is there, great, but I would have taken one more. So I think that's a bit disappointing from Amorim, in my opinion. Amorim was asked about the attack and obviously sort of the lack of goals and everything. He says sometimes there are things that are hard to explain. Before the last match, we had some games without opportunities and creating chances. That's impossible for them to score, and that's a team thing. But I felt the last game, sometimes it's luck. The way we kicked the ball a little bit a metre more inside, we had the opportunity to score and we didn't score them. Sometimes that's it. And I think that's Ruben Amorim saying sometimes it's not their fault. It's a team problem that we're not scoring. And sometimes they need to do better. I think it's Ruben Amorim's way of saying that in probably the best and most polite way. He also gave updates ahead of the Europa League, saying if we win the Europa League, it would be amazing. The position would be in next season being in the Champions League. But he's obviously said his priority is trying to fix this in the long term. And he also said that Harry Maguire and Manuel Ugarte are absent because they're injured. They cannot play the game. Well, they're not injured. They're being careful. They've got a knock. They don't want to risk it. They'd rather than be available for the Arsenal game. And if you are wondering why Chido isn't available, Ruben Amorim answered this saying it was a different context in the moment. It was completely different, and we chose different players in terms of Chido not being Europa League squad, because the Europa League squad was chosen like 2 months ago when we thought Ahmad was going to be fit. And if you had a choice of Ahmad and Chido, you would choose Ahmad. So it's disappointing that Chido misses out on that, but it is what it is. But listen, people, that is your 10-minute Manchester United news and transfer news roundup. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you for watching. See you next time, and yeah.